now. So I'm kind of sad that I couldn't find a picture. But also, um, the pictures that I've been showing the past couple weeks with me and Chris and me and Joe, I was like, wow, yeah, no.
Yeah, I've got pictures
Let's.
of. I should have sent you some. If that was the memory lane one, I could have. I had a good one of us. I think it was from Empire one year. There was one of us where we were all hanging out. I think it was the year that Denny O'Neil was there. I think that was the
Okay,
year.
that was
So
the second year at Empire, I
I think
believe.
so. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
But yeah, I like Joe's Aquaman piece that you have, but I love that Superman piece that he did for you. That's
That was
such a
that,
wonderful piece.
that was a wedding gift for Rose and I for our wedding.
Yeah.
Speaking of weddings, wow. Let's talk your creator-owned project,
Sure.
Undersea Hero.
That's right.
You and
Undersea
I,
Hero.
you and I both are huge Aquaman fans.
It's true.
What made you want to do a? I don't want to say parody. I don't want to say likeness, but this is a character by perusing the book is kind of a mixture of Aquaman and the Tick. Am I correct?
I mean, it's a satire for sure. And if you look at, I even published in the issue zero that was a San Diego premiere exclusive, and then in the final book, I originally came up with the character back in college, and he looked very different. He looked more like a straightforward superhero character, but I was still trying to do a, some sort of, if not satire, looking at it from a different lens, kind of a perspective, and it started off as just a goofy idea that I did. I even did one piece for a class, and it sat on the shelf. And then, as we've mentioned, I worked on the Tick for over 10 years, so it informed a lot of my work. And when I decided to kind of go back and revisit that idea, it was definitely informed by all of the things that I'd learned over the years and all of those techniques, all those different cartooning styles and things. And when I wanted to look at it, and I looked at those old, I mean, there were some decent jokes from when I was younger, but it didn't have a lot of structure. And it was definitely written by, as I refer to him, as almost a different creator in myself at that time because I hadn't learned as much. I was still, 20 years old at the time. So I hadn't gone through those paces of becoming a better artist and learning the craft more. And I tried to do it in such a way where I kept some elements that I think were really important to me at that time, and then I tried to hone it in a way that I now would approach storytelling and put out a book that myself at both periods of time would find some enjoyment out of at least. My when we're young, we're very, at least when I was very concerned with like, oh, you don't want to be a sellout, you want to have your own voice, and it has to be all these very specific things. And some of that is still there, but it's also knowing that you have to create a cohesive plot for people to have a story to latch onto and not just to have a whole bunch of gags. So that was kind of, I took, if when you read the book, there is a very tight and cohesive framework amongst the chaos and even a musical number in the middle of the book. So
That's awesome. What was your attraction to Under the Sea? What was your attraction to a character like Aquaman? We never touched on that.
yeah, when I was a kid, I grew up by the ocean. My family had been on and around Nantucket Island for generations, and I would go there for summers and some holidays to visit family members. And in the summertime, I would get jobs working down on the docks, and for several years, I worked for the aquarium there. I just kind of always had this fascination with it. Even before that, I would go fishing with my father and love going to the aquariums. Like Mystic Aquarium down in Connecticut was near where I grew up. It was like the one thing that my parents knew, on a rainy day. A long time ago, it wasn't, when I was a young person, it was not as, as expensive as it is today, since they've expanded and made it this giant, huge thing that it is. It was just one little building actually back then. And, we would go and look at the fish and hang out. And I don't know, I just always liked that stuff. And in the comics, I, we've talked about this part before, is that I always preferred Aquaman to Submariner. So, as
Mm-hmm.
far as like when I was a kid picking that superhero, he was on the Super Friends. He had his own cartoon show. You saw him around. It was just a natural fit. And the comics themselves, and I don't know if either of you, Sophie or Lewis, had this when you were growing up. Is like you know, I had a choice between buying one new comic or three bargain bin comics. So when I was a
Mm.
kid, I was buying three bargain bin comics, and Aquaman was usually in there.
Interesting.
When did you discover drawing?
Oh, super young, so real little kid drawing horrible little scribbles of like the Ghostbusters or whatever. I definitely, and it was kind of a full circle moment when I did the TMNT Ghostbusters cover with Campana. That like I was drawing that crossover when I was like 5, so that was like it was
That's
kind of
awesome.
except it
Love
was with
that.
crayons and it was on construction paper, but that like those ideas were there when I was a little kid.
That's so cool.
Speaking of Sophia, how are we with chat?
Caught up, other than what Joe had said that you were with the cake boss, aka
Oh,
Virgie. Yeah.
oh yes, I was with the cake box. um, Speaking of crossover and dream crossovers, Batman Ninja Turtles. How was it to work on that book?
It was interesting. I grew. One of the first things I watched as a kid with my mom was the Adam West TV show on Nick at Night. When I was a kid, it was on Nick at Night. You could watch Adam West and Linda Carter, and then the George Reeves Superman was all on there on like a big block. So it was like that was what the two of us would watch on a little black and white TV in the kitchen. And um, when it got the opportunity came forward and it was a New England Comics exclusive, the store called me and they said, you've done Ninja Turtles. We're going to pitch you, and this is one of those things that people don't necessarily know is that they can, even if a store or a vendor picks you as an artist, the publisher can still reject you. So you have to go in and they have to look at your portfolio or look at the work you've already done and approve or not approve whether you do it or not. So they sent me the style guide for animated adventures when I did my first animated adventures cover. So they knew that I could do that look, but they still wanted to see some sketches of like the Bruce Timm style Batman. And one of the interesting things about it is when I went and talked to all my other buddies that did covers for that series, I was the only person that they were like, you really got to follow the Bruce Timm style guide. And everybody else kind of like Ben Bishop got to draw the Ben Bishop Batman. People got to do kind of their own twists. But it was interesting because if I look back at that cover now, even though I was doing the style guide, it was still my proportions, my movements. So it still had enough of my oeuvre to not be mistaken for someone else's work.
But
So, but
you killed it.
oh, thanks. Yeah, we did like 6 or 7 sketches. NEC vetoed one, and then it was settled on. But then they kind of changed it at the last minute. The one thing that's hidden on that is if you saw the Adam West Batman movie, there was the United Underworld, and that was kind of all the bad guys teaming up. And my little Easter egg in it is if you look in the background, Catwoman standing in front of the United Underworld backdrop. It's like they had reunited for this one thing through the Bruce Timm TMNT crossover.
That's pretty cool. Ben says, Ian, did you know about the Batman Elmer Fudd special?
It's a classic. It's great. Lee Weeks, incredible artist.
What version did you like? Did you like because in that story there was actually 2 different stories. Which story did you like? The dark and broody one or the comedic lighthearted story?
I like the range. I like how they play off of each other and the experience. They did the Aquaman Jabberwocky, which was a
Oh my
blast.
god, that was hilarious. that was hilarious. But the Batman Elmer Fudd one, the darker one, was crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely crazy. It was.
and Lee
I
Lee did the Batman annual either that year or the next year. And if you read them back to back, you can see like the through line of how he does mood and the way he does his storytelling. He's a modern master. He's great.
Let's talk Iron Face.
Oh, sure.
Where did it was that?
I said sure. Yeah.
Yeah, where did the concept come from, and what's happening next for that character?
It was originally created by Dan Paul. He created it when he was a little kid, and he actually used to write these little stories on like index cards and rent them out to his classmates like videos long, long ago. And then they started reading them on the Sour Kool-Aid Show, which was his podcast and YouTube show, and it picked up steam. Really liked it. The first story that we did was actually read by Andrew WK on the channel. They did all kinds of little animated bits, but yeah, it was Dan. They approached me. I really liked working on it, and then we're in talks. I want to do more comic stuff with it. I've been held up basically for the last 2 years on the Undersea Hero stuff, and we're finishing up the fulfillment, getting stuff out to people. We're about 65% of the way through getting boxes out. So.
All right, Sophia, you had a question with Ian about the boxes and the Kickstarter. Ian held one up, and you were complimenting on the box. Ian, do you want to hold up that box? Can you hold up that?
Sure.
box?
Yeah, I've got a stack here.
Yeah.
I do these. These are these I call box doodles, and we just have fun with them. I'll draw whatever character I feel like that evening, and this is not something that anybody paid for. This is just drawing on the mailer. And they get this in addition to, all of the backing stuff that they got. There's a couple of ticks. Here's one. Here's a Phantom Stranger. I know that would be up Lewis's alley.
Oh my God,
so we got them.
Beautiful.
And then
Awesome.
here's a Swamp Thing
Whoa.
that I haven't finished yet.
Look at the detail.
So yeah,
Those are nice.
I just have fun with them. And whenever I open up my online store again when we're done with this, I'll just keep doing them because people like them and I enjoy doing them. So
Yes, so cool. I love
so
that.
so if you order a $10 book, you'll get a sketch of whatever on the box.
That's so awesome.
So when you do those sketches, it's just whoever you feel like drawing at the time.
Yeah, I don't take suggestions or requests on them. It's just you're coming over to my house for a meal, and you're gonna have what I'm serving, or you don't have to have it. You can give it away. You can pass it off to the next person.
I like that.
That's brilliant.
Although I will say I'm very lucky, and everybody's been very nice. Like I have to say, I mean, I don't know if it's knock on wood or if I've just been blessed with nice people, but I rarely see people ever flip my stuff. Occasionally with like the special edition tick stuff, I'll see that. But when it comes to people who reach out to me for my work and stuff, they're really kind, and they'll say that they keep them, and I'll get pictures from years later from people, and it's the best feeling.
It's so cool.
First, Ian, I mean, can you hold up the Ninja Turtle one again and the tick?
Yeah. There's Raphael.
Look, I mean,
That is amazing.
Viewers, now if you are listening to this on Spotify, iTunes, or one of the outlets for just audio only, what you are missing is this is on a cardboard mailer box, and they are just not black and white sketches. These are colored sketches that your mail carrier is going to be delivering to your front door. And now, is that pastel? It's chalk or marker?
These are paint pens. So yeah, they're like, and the people at the post office love them. So it's like the whole process is just positive and nice. So it's like, why wouldn't I keep doing them?
Now,
Yes.
wow. Unfortunately, everyone that Ian just showed are all spoken for already. So as Ian was saying, once his online store gets open, that's when you're going to get your chance to get this.
Yep.
So we're at the end of the show, we're going to get all the hearsay and everything when that's going to happen. But right now, 65%, he's almost done getting these obligations out of the way.
Yeah.
And once that's done, get your $10 ready to get a book, man. You're going to get that box. And speaking of getting stuff out of the way, Sophia, get ready, because it's time for the Erica Legacy Foundation. You want to tell everyone what that's all about?
So the Erica Legacy Foundation is a foundation where people can go when they are not doing okay mentally or emotionally. So if you or any of your friends are going through a hard time, our Legacy Foundation is an amazing foundation to check out. And there's the link. Thank you, Mango. ericalegacy.com.
It's now time for Quiz with Quimsel.
And Sophia on the beat, we turning heads, bringing heat to the street. Get ready now, it's our time to shine. Feel the rhythm, every move is divine. Feel the madness, it's a party in your soul. Feel the madness, let the good times roll. Feel the madness, Come and join the ride.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. You have to answer